Ladies and gentlemen, brother Javi, what up, man?
Hey, what's happening?
Nothing much, man.
Yes,
Thank you so much for joining the show.
yes, yes, man. I appreciate it, and I really, I really like your work, man.
Thank you,
I really respect your work. Yes,
thank you, sir.
you know,
Thank you. Tell everybody where you're from.
man. I rep Tacoma. I'm from the south side of Tacoma, uh, Hilltop neighborhood. Uh, Hilltop, south side of Tacoma was basically a Crip neighborhood, and that's what I gravitated to because it was so feared. And I remember coming out of church one day, and my aunt, she said, let's drive down 23rd Street. She said, you want to see where the Crips are at? So she floors it all the way down 23rd from J Street all the way down past Sheridan. And it was like a thrill, because it was such a scary thing because so much shit was going on out there. And, when you grow up in a church family, um, it was kind of natural for me to rebel. I wanted to expand and spread my wings and find out what was out there, beyond just the park, because I could only go to the park. We wasn't allowed to go to the hilltop, you know. But I kind of followed in the footsteps of one of my childhood friends, rest in peace, Little Slayer, and he introduced me to the neighborhood, which is a hood that was 2 blocks away from Hilltop, neighborhood 25th. And I started kicking with them guys and actually jumped off the porch with them and just seen a lot of people my age just, you know, that was close to me that really didn't make it, didn't get a chance to experience adulthood, from that street life. Um, but Tacoma's unique because the way that we took to gangbanging, and I want to say that LA style gangbanging was more influential up here for whatever reason. To me, there may have been cats from the Bay up here, but it wasn't Bay Area, California. It was Southern California. It was LA style gangbanging that was more influential up here with when it comes to Crips and Bloods and Pyrus and even folks. Tacoma, Hilltop, Eastside, Lakewood, Telecom. It was gangbanging. That was the predominant culture, in my youth.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, we've heard it referred to as to Compton,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
I recently heard that. Yeah,
yeah, I've heard that
the
throughout my
Compton.
life. For some reason, just throughout my life, I've heard. Oh, I knew Tacoma was just gangster as hell, just from people that have maybe grew up in Seattle. They'd be like, "Don't go to Tacoma," type shit.
Right. Yeah,
Mm.
and I love that. I love that my town had that notoriety. Because it kind of creates an identity of us against the world. You know, and I didn't see Tacoma as part of Washington. I saw Tacoma as Tacoma versus Washington.
Mm.
You know, because we get a bad rap
Yeah,
to this day, and it's not like that at all. It's been gentrified heavily.
that's what I was gonna ask.
You
So,
know,
has Tacoma experienced some gentrification too?
yeah, it was a mass black exodus. Um, shoot, like from '94 and the '90s and even early 2000s, the amount of black people in Tacoma has probably decreased by like shoot 50-60%.
Mm.
You
Wow.
know, yeah, it's been a mass black exodus, and the
Who's
war
moving
on
in? The white
drugs.
white folks are moving in, or
Oh yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
White folks, especially from the Seattle area, because
mm.
it's more expensive up there,
Yeah.
so they've been moving down here.
Mm.
And so hoods that used to be turfs and danger zones is is more safe and friendly.
Yeah, yeah. They built a
You
big
know,
$1 billion stadium down here in LA. I'm sure you're aware of. And shit, 5 years ago, I would have never walked in that area. You know what I'm saying? Past a
mhm.
certain time, and now you walk around and you see white people walking around at night with their little dogs and coffee and
Yes,
shit. You're like,
uh-huh.
damn,
And flip flops. Yeah, it's a trip.
man, yeah,
It's
man.
a culture shock. So I I got locked up in '05 for bank robbery, and I did 2 years. And uh, I didn't learn my lesson. I did get linked up with the Black Prisoners Caucus uh, at Moreau, at a prison called Moreau.
What's that?
Um, it's a group of Black prisoners that they work for legislative change. We work for education to educate young people, about the law and just trying to stay on the right path and not make the same mistakes that got us there. Mm. And it was pretty cool for me. It was a blessing for me because they had a lot of outside support from Seattle, to where we'd all sit in a circle and we would just brainstorm and release, talk on how we could get out of the system and overcome the things that brought us to be in the system. The Black Prisoners Caucus.
Okay. I love that.
When I got out, they had a job for me when I got out this last time in 2015. But I had went for 2 years. I got out and I didn't learn my lesson. And I hit another bank and got locked up. I did 7.5 years the second time. And so from 2008 to 2015, coming back home to Tacoma, it was more gentrified, even more, to where the town was very unrecognizable.
Wow.
So, thank God I still got a support system, but just the change, I can't imagine what other people have gone through who did more time than me. Like, say you got locked up in the 90s and you just now getting out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's, to see what Tacoma has become, or, any town like this. And it's like, it's culture shock, It's culture shock. But sometimes it's been depressing. I rode through my old hood all the time, and I don't see no remnants of what it used to be like, to where we was out there pushing a line. Like, we was stopping cars in the middle of the street that you can't come through here. This is our block, And now I see like almost like a feminization of society. I don't see a lot of masculinity with the young generation these days out here. Not like how we was,
Different time. Let me ask you, how, without getting into the details of what you specifically did, can you share with us how a bank robber prepares to rob a bank? Like, what are the, what I'm saying? Like, what are some things that you prepare for? You make sure it doesn't happen,
Yeah. I just had a lot of frustration built up from things I was going through, and maybe a lot of anger towards even this country, because I have a heritage that's Black and Native American, and not understanding my whole history.
Said Native American, yeah.
Yeah. And feeling like, okay, we got robbed out of our land and we don't get no benefits. And, some of these tribes get benefits, but, they ain't trying to do nothing for brothers or whatever. Frustrations with my economic situation growing up, to where it's kind of boiled over. And there wasn't a lot of planning involved. I just kind of snapped. I was just tired of being broke one day and said, fuck it, man.
Damn, just rolled into a bank.
Just went up in the bank. I kind of looked at the time schedule that the next bus was going to come next to the bank, and my plan was to go around the bank and jump over a fence and catch the next bus. Be at that bus stop in time for to be able to get on the next bus and get out of the vicinity. But it didn't go out. It didn't work out like that, because when I went around the back, there was a razor wire over the fence, so I couldn't hop the fence, so I had to go another route.
Damn.
And then they put a dye pack in the money, so it's exploded in my backpack. There's red dye all over the money but all I heard was pop, 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 like fireworks going off in my backpack. So, I'm really spooked, because I'm thinking that God done threw a thunderbolt at me, and I didn't know where the explosions was happening until I found out later they put that dye pack in there. And a policeman saw me after I had hid in a school for a little bit, and I thought the coast was clear. When I was crossing the street, a policeman saw me and told me to get on the ground. So I went away, and but I was hard headed. This is in my mid-20s, and I thought I was slick enough to, I kind of felt like it was a blow to my pride that I had got caught. So I wanted to prove that, I could get away with it. So one morning I had a fight with my old lady, and I was late for a job, and I was just feeling like, damn, fuck, I don't even want to. Kind of depression set in. I don't even want. If I really wanted this job, I would have been there on time. So fuck it. I just kind of, threw it away and kind of gave up hope and said fuck it, and just slid them a note. I didn't even have a weapon, but I found out according to the law that whether you have a weapon or not, it's first degree robbery inside of a financial institution. So, and that's another thing. Growing up, I didn't pay a lot of attention to the law, but it was like it took for me to get into trouble with the law to understand how the law works and to have a new respect for the law. Because then I found out what kind of rights had been taken away from me, my voting rights, when you're a felon or on probation, there's a lot of countries you can't travel to. If you have a warrant, you can't leave the country at all. If you're under indictment, you can't leave the country at all, And so I have always had dreams. I used to travel to Canada back in the day, kick it, have a good time before 911 shut down the border. And I still had goals and dreams that, being able to travel, and see other places. So it was hard, realizing that I threw away a lot of freedoms after the fact.
Is prison modern day slavery?
Yes.
Talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, in Washington, black people were like 3 to 5% of the population, but we're like 40% of the state population, prison population. So we're affected more than other people, and it just reminds me of slavery. The indignity of it, having to strip down naked in front of another man. To be outnumbered in the prison system, surrounded by non-black people, especially white people, being the majority up here. Just especially they put prisoners out in rural areas away from the city, and you're dealing with guards who are not familiar with your culture, and so don't even like you. A lot of them look down on you, and so it's like a subservience. Is very reminiscent of slavery, and you're not getting paid hardly. Yeah.
What was the worst thing about prison?
Being away from family.
Yeah.
And just having a stigma of feeling like, gosh, I let my folks down. They don't have nothing to be proud of me. Like I let my family down. Just the shame of it. I used to think like, gosh, I know my grandma, my dad, my mom, I know they wanted better things for me when they had me than to be ending up in this system. And I found out later my grandmother was actually a counselor at the women's state prison, and she retired from the Department of Corrections. And I didn't know that until I was in the job. So, but I got my AA degree at Walla Walla. Walla Walla Community College.
That's right. You told me that. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. That's even though it's only an AA, I mean, I was so proud to get that, man. Yeah. It was a beautiful time. My mom and my aunt, they flew up and came to my graduation ceremony inside. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, man.
I spent a lot of time, just working out and just going to school or going to Toastmasters or going to the writing class, just trying to sharpen my skills, trying to improve myself. It's been a long time coming. I've kind of had a lot of things I want to get off my chest, because we get ignored up here. Seattle, Tacoma, Portland, a lot of people from other places, they think it's just all softy. It's all soft up here. So, but when you're, living in a predominantly white area, sometimes it's harder for black people in certain ways,
Mm.
Because we're not deep, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tacoma is surrounded by a lot of wealthy towns with a strong IT background. Unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
that isn't the case for Tacoma, but your gaming music venture was born the day you got out of prison on June 16th, 2015. Take
Yes.
us take us back to that day.
I was watching the news. I'm just about to get released, and they said something about Jesse Jackson was trying to bring these tech companies to task about having more diversity um, in their companies. And I'm thinking, with games, with video games, sometimes they need music, And I'm just thinking about all the talented producers that I've come across. Producers don't get the credit; they don't get the spotlight like artists do. And just to be able to, how would I be able to put production into video games that came from hip hop
Hmm.
producers? That marriage between hip hop and gaming. I just thought there's opportunity there, and it's lucrative, and I can get the right kind of website up and fashion it the right way to where even the average, say your young up and coming producer that's just making music and just trying to get known or exposed to be able to create an avenue to where he could put his, to where video game producers could listen to his artistry, his production, his beats, and choose to put them in their video games, and he get paid for it. If I could be a bridge between those producers and the video game makers somehow, and that's what Boom and Sound Pro is about.
I like that, man. I like that. Are you a musician, or were you a musician back in the day?
No, that talent skipped me.
Mm.
Uh,
You
went
just
to my
you just came
dad,
across a
my
lot of
brother.
them.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a writer. I'm a writer. So,
Okay.
and I rap. Like I put on a couple different concerts while I was in the joint, rapping.
Oh, no shit, huh?
Uh, yeah, I rap under the artist name SJS, which is South J Street, which is the street I was born on at
Okay.
St. Joe's Hospital in Tacoma.
Okay.
Uh,
Are you a gamer?
I haven't been gaming lately,
Okay.
uh, but yeah, I do mobile gaming. Yeah,
Oh,
and I
okay.
get caught up in it. And so I just got a new job, so I've been working more than anything lately. But I plan to get back into it.
That's dope. That's dope, man. What's your
Yeah,
what's your ultimate goal with your venture?
ultimate goal would be able to work with casino gaming eventually.
Mm. Who's
You
casino
know,
gaming? I'm not too familiar with.
people who make the slot machines.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I don't see black culture
Mm.
represented in those games. It's Asian culture, and the tribes are making a lot of money off of it, but black people ain't making no money. We're losing money.
Mm.
And so I'm like, how do I get on the other side of this slot machine and work with the people who are making the games and put my music up in these games
Mm.
eventually?
I love
You
that,
know,
man. That's dope.
yeah.
That's real dope. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, man. Well, tell everybody where they can find you and what's next, man. The floor is yours.
yes, sir. I'm at patreon.com/booming sound bank. And that's where you can donate to my cause and help me get to where I need to get, with this and put some other brothers on because Microsoft is right up the street. Um, I'm not gonna give up. Redmond, Kirkland, Bellevue, they're eating. People are eating in this IT industry, and it's really it's Nipsey inspired as well. Because that's what Nipsey was trying to do was bring kids from the hood and give them careers and lead us out of the dark age into this technology, and
Hmm.
so we can eat from this pie too. You know,
Yeah, man.
So
We need more Nipseys, man. R.I.P., dude.
yes, absolutely, and that's almost why I stopped rapping because when I heard Nipsey, it was like he was saying everything that I already wanted to say.
Uh,
I didn't have to say it.
damn.
I didn't have to say it no more. This brother said it.
Mm.
You know.
Damn,
Yep.
man. Do you still listen to hip hop today? Like the newer hip hop?
A little bit. A little bit of the newer stuff. I stick with the old school.
Yeah, me
You
too.
know.
Yeah, I think we're about the
Yeah.
same age. I was born in '78. Yeah, you're
Uh huh.
born
Yep.
79. Yeah. So yeah, usually '90s and maybe early 2000s
Uh huh.
stay in my system. Who's some of the people? Because I'm a big hip hop nerd when it comes to like certain towns that we don't get to hear about. But we
Yeah.
of course know Sir Mix-a-Lot. Represents Seattle. Or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. But what who are some artists in Tacoma? Do you know, like, remember any Tacoma rappers back in the day that were blowing up, or even if it was just
Well,
locally?
Mr. Dog, who you talk to?
Mr. Dog. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. He probably
That's
has
my
the biggest name
uh-huh.
coming out of Tacoma.
Mm.
There was a white cat named Jay Bars
J
that I
Bars.
really
Okay.
liked. Yeah. Jay Bars. There's a brother named Levy Soprano who I ran into in Lakewood. That was nice. Um, shoot, I'll tell you the truth. I don't know a whole lot from the town. You know,
But hey, just even have just a few or a couple that were at least
Mac
buzzing.
Money. Mac Money. You talk to Mac Money. I
Oh,
like his style too.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Shout out Mac Money.
yeah.
Shout out
Mac
Mr.
Money.
Dog
Yeah,
and
and
R.I.P.
Mac
Young
Money's little
Ace.
brother. Yeah, Mac Bo. That's my guy. His little brother. We was at Monroe Camp together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a different time we're living in. When you and I don't know if you get a chance to maybe not listen to the music, but keep up with some of the shenanigans
Uh-huh.
that's been going on. Like, are you familiar with that dude Takashi 6ix9ine?
Yeah. Yeah. I am.
Yeah, what were your thoughts about this cat, man? This rainbow hair dude running around, and the next thing you know, he's running with the Bloods, and the next thing you know, he's snitching on everybody. Like, in hindsight, what are your thoughts on someone like Takashi 6ix9ine?
He should have just been himself because he had talent, but he wanted to be. He wanted to be in the gang scene when he didn't have to. He had enough talent to just be himself. You know, because I heard some of his tracks, and when I was down in Phoenix, the little chick I was with, she was feeling it, and I was like, "Well, he's a rat, though. He's a rat."
Man, they
You
don't care
know?
nowadays. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah. And so karma's a motherfucker, man. Karma could come back on you, so he's gonna get what he got coming. Just like how it took 30 years for that Alpo dude
Yeah.
to get taken out.
Mm.
Whatever, however many years, but eventually it came back around to him. So he should have got out and got into the witness protection program, or just really. It seemed like his time. He's not humbled at all, and I think that humbling is
At
gonna
all,
come.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one way or another. You can't just laugh in the face of what he did like that, you know.
Man, dude.
And it's really weird because just even growing up in the mid '90s, there wasn't no cripping and blooding in New York. That's
Hmm.
that was crazy. Because they was on something else. They was on their own vibe. You know, and just it's still weird for me to hear about Crips and Bloods over there. But I have ran into a couple youngsters that I was locked up with that was some cool cats. I really can't say that. And some older Crips from Brooklyn that I did time with, that I got along with. But it's a trip. It's a trip. There's even Crips and Bloods over there. It's just like I'm sure somebody would say, it's a trip that there's Crips and Bloods in Seattle and Tacoma.
Well, it makes geographically it makes sense because, from what I understand, Crips and Bloods, like, that was one of the first stops, like when they were moving and doing their thing and transporting the crack or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle was one of the first stops, so it makes sense that you guys were probably cripping since the early '80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard '87 was the year.
Okay.
That's what my uncle told me for here. Tacoma took to it differently than everybody else. Tacoma took to it differently than Seattle for some reason. I don't know why.
Mm.
You know, but it's all love though.
When you say differently, what do you mean?
Took it up more fervently. Like up there, it's more folks and Hoovers and stuff like that. Here it was Crips, Bloods, Pyrus, and some folks. You know, so it was more C's and B's specifically than it was up there. And I'm not saying that to denigrate or downgrade, but you know they got their own thing up there. But you know, people know Tacoma's different. So,
Got you. Who were some of the first sets, to the best of your knowledge? Maybe your uncle shared this with you also, but who were some of the first like LA based sets to establish themselves in Tacoma, or has it been pretty much just mostly homegrown sets?
Oh yeah, the LA had a big part to play with it. I've heard '60s and Watergate because I was young, so I don't remember exactly. I just remember, you know, who was around me. But what some of the older homies, you know, hilltoppers have told me, you know, it says that the Watergate, and I know a cat from Watergate who vouched for this, but it was Watergate and '60s on the hill first, and then came Hilltop, and I don't even know when my hood came about. You know, and I want to say that it's pretty much defunct. Like I'm talking about something that's not even around and operative these days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I saw Crips and Bloods as nation. We are a nation, Crip nation. You know, not a gang. You know, almost like tribal peoples. You know, but neighborhood was 2 blocks away from Hilltop, and there was some friction because certain Hilltoppers wanted neighborhood Crip Gang 25th to be under 23rd, but we were our own things, and it's not like in Hood 111. You know, it's not like Cali neighborhood is our OGs or nothing like that. It's just a local homegrown set. You know, it was a local homegrown set. You know, and it was wearing the baby blue. You know, and I just thought, see, we had a reputation for being more like players, you know, and Hilltop was known for being a little bit more grimier, you know.
So can you, for an outsider, I know it probably doesn't look like it did when you grew up, but like, can you explain like the geographics of Hillside? Like, cause I'm picturing you go up a road and then it's an actual hill. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a hill from downtown,
Gotcha.
and you go up the hill, and you hit around Yakima, and you on the hilltop, and you get to the top of the hill at J Street and MLK, and it used to be called K Street back in the day. It was real active. Lot of dope dealing used to go on out there, you know, and it goes down to Sprague, which is the road that leads to the freeway. They say Sprague is the line, you know. But yeah, from 27th to 6th Avenue. So that's what, 21 blocks. And you had all these little cliques. It started off with Hilltop 23rd, and then they got all these little cliques. 1-6, 1-7, Young Boxer, 1-5, Young Hilltop, and other little cliques. BGEs was up there. HTB was up there at one point in time on 21st. Neighborhood was on 25th. And it was just a lot of different little factions in that little small area. It's not a huge neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was a locked out hood, as Quick would say.
One of my favorite songs.
Uh-huh.
One of my favorite songs. You know what? Speaking of Quick, you said Tacoma's more a Crip city, but you said there are Pyrus and Bloods there as well.
Yeah, on the east side.
Okay, gotcha.
East side.
Okay, how far is that from Hilltop?
It's like maybe 2 miles. It's
Oh,
not that
okay.
far. Yeah, it's just on the other side of town, and that's where you had the Asian Bloods, the OLBs, Black Bloods, ESPs, um, Samoans, Royal Samoan Piru, natives, native gangster blood. And for all those B-Dog sets, for the Samoans and natives, the blacks and uh, the Asians, you had Crip sets from those same people.
Mm.
So, and you had native gangster blood and you have native gangster Crip. You have OLB and you have LOC. You have RSP and you have SOS. It's crazy how peoples was divided between red and blue.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we had I grew up in Long Beach, so I'm very familiar with SOS, Sons of Samoa.
Um,
Yeah, so big Samoan presence up there as well.
yeah. 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 There's a lot of Usos up here.
Yeah, shout out to my Uso homies, man.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I went
Nicest
into a few of them.
people in the world, man. Just don't
Come
double
on.
cross them, dog. Like,
Come on.
man, I love my Samoan homies, man. They always show me love and just like, come on in, treat you like family. But I've seen them,
Yeah.
wreck shop when when someone crosses them, man.
Well, that's the thing. With the Hilltops, I was like, y'all bang with these guys? Y'all gonna bang against them? It's like,
Ooh, man,
yeah, you have to be raw.
big dudes.
You have to be raw fighting them. I ain't gonna.
Shout out
Hey,
to
I'll
them.
get with you. I'm on the phone. I'll get with you. I maybe just pulled up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. But yeah.
Damn, dude. Do you know do you know if movies like Colors had any influence on your city, or were things pretty much just already in motion before that movie even, came
What
out?
year did Colors come
So
out?
Colors came out in '88.
It was already in motion, but
Okay.
Colors kind of set it on fire. It did.
Okay.
Yeah, Colors played a big part. And I used to watch that movie all the time. I used to love that
To
movie.
this day, if it's on TV, I will literally sit down and watch it, man.
Yeah, I wanted to be Rocket. I thought Rocket was so hard.
Damn,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, that was a good
Yeah.
movie, dude. And unfortunately, it did. I've talked to several people because I talked to former gang bangers and gang members all over the country, and they said when Colors hit their town, a lot of them said, yeah, shit, just it was on, dude. It was on.
Yeah.
Colors, and when Banging on Wax came,
Yeah.
Crips and Bloods album.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you remember about that Banging on Wax album?
Oh, I remember the Pyru Love song.
Every man, I swear to God, dog, you're not the first Crip who said they bumped Pyru Love on the low, dog. They be like, man, I used to bump that shit on the low, dog. And when I pulled up to the homies, I would put it on the other side.
That time I came up into the People's Center, and my young cats my age, little BGs, was in there, and if Pyru Love came on, and they started hitting up Pyru, and I was looking at the homies like, what is wrong with you dudes? They were just fucking around, playing around with it. It was crazy. It was undeniable. That shit was raw.
Yeah.
That shit was raw, And I was bumping the C side, but I had to give it up. The motherfuckers was coming off on the B side,
Man.
But yeah, one time there was this club called Brown's Bar and Grill,
Mm-hmm.
and my partner Teddy, he picks me up and he got a sharp stick, and I hit the shutter with him, and I don't know, for some reason he's beefing with his homies. For some reason he wasn't getting along with them, and he pulls in the middle of the street, 2:00 a.m. Club's getting out, number of Crips out there, and he starts blasting Pyru Love.
Oh shit!
Loud. I'm like, Teddy, what are you doing, man? And I got up out the car because I thought the car was gonna get shot up.
Damn, dog. That brought your high down quick, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
Damn, man.
But at least we had a Browns. It wasn't a black owned, but that was the establishment that blacks visited. And they took that out. There used to be a lot of black owned bars and clubs up on there and businesses, and it's just not as thick at all anymore. But shout out to the Fish House. on 19th and MLK. So that's like one of the last remnants of black-owned business up there.
Damn, that's crazy because we got a 19th and MLK too, and it probably looks exactly like your 19th and MLK did.
No.
I think there's a fish market on the corner too. Come to think.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I really think
it's NOI. It's ran by the NOI.
Man, he took it right out of my mouth. There's always a dude on the corner with the magazine trying to sell me bean pies. That's hilarious.
Yeah, shout out to Anthony Muhammad.
You painted it right there, dog.
This brother would come to Moreau Prison and give us the final call.
Final call.
And he came faithfully. Anthony Muhammad. He would come up there to the brothers up there that's locked up to see us. A lot of us wasn't getting visits. And it's big. That's so big. I always have respect for that man. For that.
That's dope, man. Well, hey, man, I really appreciated this conversation. I enjoyed it as well, man. One more time, I encourage everybody out there to support my dude's Patreon. It's Patreon Booming Sound Bank. I'll make sure I put it in the description when I post this show in a few weeks. Booming Sound Bank. Support this dude, man. He's trying to do something different for our people. We pay, we're supporting a lot of these mainstream that have nothing to do directly with us. How about we put some of that money so it can come back around and help us like other groups do. There's a reason why other groups in this country are passing us, man, and flourishing, because we don't support brothers like my dude right here, Javi, man. We really need to support dudes like this, so we can keep up with the rest of the country, dog. Because we're it's rough for us right now, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got the least home ownership in America.
Facts. Yeah. We need to stop selling our homes, man. That's why gentrification even exists, because we're so quick to sell. Look, Grandma bought the house back in 1950 for, let's say, $17,000. Grandma passes away, and the kids, they just want their quick little couple $100,000. They're like, house is worth $200,000 now. Man, you sell that home, dude, and next thing you know, just like Javi said earlier, you drive through your hood and there's no remnants of where you grew up. We can't be so quick to sell, man, for $100,000. Keep that home in that neighborhood, dude. And we can go on. We could really go on and on about that, man. But Brother Javi, man, I really appreciate you, dude.
Just give me a little bit of peace, steady job and some food to eat. Just give me a little bit of peace, steady job and some food to eat. Just give me a little bit of peace.